Hey folks, welcome back to our channel. Always super to have you with us. Lately we've been quite into this beautiful world of permaculture and thought it's about time we plunged into that pool of knowledge together. So buckle up because we're about to journey into the realm of creating sustainable, self-sufficient agricultural ecosystems. Firstly, let's crack open the history book and take a look at the early concepts regarding permaculture. The story goes back way before the term permaculture was even coined. Essentially, it rose out of the concern for sustainability and the desire for self-sufficiency. Our ancestors knew a thing or two about living off the land, right? They followed nature's example, farm animals and crops coexisting and contributing to a successful, holistic system. Now, we can't dig into permaculture without tipping our hats to the two men who came together to form this concept. Bill Mollison and David Holmgren. These two lads were like, let's bring back this traditional knowledge, mix it with a bit of modern science, and make it a full-blown method. Mollison, an Australian ecologist and university professor, along with Holmgren. His student created a framework that could apply it anywhere, from your cute backyard garden to a full-scale farm. These guys pretty much gave birth to a new era by coining the term permaculture. It's like a cool mashup of permanent agriculture and permanent culture. Quite nifty, eh? They developed the term in the mid-1970s, and it represented a design philosophy encouraging us to mimic the patterns found in nature, thus creating sustainable and self-sufficient ecosystems. So that's a quick tour through the world of permaculture. We'll be unpacking more about this fantastic method in our future videos. Until then, keep it green and, of course, keep it permaculture. You know what set the world abuzz in the world of sustainable agriculture? It was this little gem of a book, Permaculture 1. Yeah, that started it all. The big eco-revolution. Published some years back, it's still considered a moment of eureka in the realm of sustainable and self-sufficient farming practices. So what was the big deal about it? Well, the book proposed a huge shift in how we view our agricultural systems. It put on the table a whole new approach of designing our foodscape, one that's sustainable and also self-sufficient. Imagine that, growing food without being dependent on others and doing it in a way that doesn't kick Mother Nature in the teeth. But as you know, with every new idea, there are always skeptics in the crowd. While many were giving permaculture ones a standing ovation, there were critics who pulled on their cardigans and furrowed their brows. They argued about complexities, that the book proposed ideas that felt too idealistic and were too complicated for your everyday farmer to implement. Was it all just dreamy pie in the sky, they asked? Could Joe on his farm realistically design a sustainable and self-sufficient ecosystem for himself? Well, fast forward to today and you can see the answer yourself. No longer confined to the pages of a revolutionary, albeit controversial book, permaculture principles have sprouted across the globe. Over time, people didn't just adopt these ideas, they adapted it, tweaked it to suit their local conditions. The stuff of dreams has been pressed into service on the fields and farms of practically every corner of the world. From small rooftop gardens in bustling cities to expansive crop fields in rural areas, everywhere folks are singing alongside the chorus of sustainability and self-sufficiency. So, or the naysayers who thought Permaculture 1 was nothing more but an eco-fantasy, looks like the proof of the pudding was, after all, in the planting. So, all about permaculture, right? The way we can design agricultural ecosystems that are both sustainable and self-sufficient. Well, did you know this incredible technique is not just being used in your backyard garden, but is actually expanding on a global scale? Truth is, we're witnessing a permaculture revolution. Probably sounds a bit too grand, but it's legit. All around the world, from Australia's outback to urban gardens in New York City, people are transforming their environments using permaculture principles. Now, let me take you back in time a bit and tell you about the Permaculture Institute. Picture this. It's early 1970s and two Australian chaps, Bill Mollison and David Holmgren, are brainstorming about how to counter the destructive effects of conventional agriculture. They dream up permaculture and its principles, establishing the Permaculture Institute in Tasmania. Picture a Hogwarts for green thumbs, teaching the magic of sustainable agriculture.
Pretty cool, right?
Permaculture isn't just about planting a couple of trees and hoping for the best, though. It's evolved big time over the years. In its early days, it was all about forest gardens and compost heaps. Today, it's tackling bigger issues like climate change, deforestation, and ensuring food security. New practices range from creating chicken tractors to developing edible rooftops in cities, from passive solar design in houses to natural building techniques using materials like cob and straw. What I'm saying is permaculture has come a long way since the 70s. It's grown from a grassroots movement into a global force for good, and it keeps on evolving. Isn't it amazing how a little curiosity and a lot of hard work can change the world? All right, let's dive into some exciting stuff. The ins and outs of permaculture. This innovative, eco-friendly approach to agriculture has led to some truly remarkable applications. For instance, take Jeff Lawton's Zaytuna farm in Australia. It's smack in the middle of definitely not farming-friendly territory, but the magic of permaculture transformed it into shiny living proof that even the most unfriendly land can thrive. Speaking of awesome permaculture practitioners, we've got to talk about Brad Lancaster. His work in Tucson, Arizona, a place that's usually as dry as microwave toast, led to the establishment of an amazing water harvesting project. Turning desert lands into fertile, food-producing heavens is no small achievement, folks. And who can forget about Sepp Holzer, the rebel farmer from Austria? With his Holzer permaculture, he's been busy turning alpine wastelands into lush, edible landscapes. Heck, he even calls himself the rebel. Sepp's all about permaculture in its most unadulterated form, leaving Mother Nature to do her thing. Now, wouldn't it be unforgivable not to mention some wins in the big league for such awe-inspiring work? The Hague in the Netherlands, known for things way more serious than farming, recognized permaculture's awesomeness with the 2010 Innovation and Technology Award for the Permaculture Research Institute of Australia. And let's not forget the late, great Toby Hemingway. His book, Gaia's Garden, was awarded the Nautilus Silver Medal in the Ecology Environment category. This book shines a light on the endless possibilities of merging urban landscapes with permaculture principles. Then there's the Best Global Case Award at the 2013 Beyond Sport Awards in Philadelphia, which went to Operation Hope, a project piloted by none other than the Permaculture Research Institute. Yeah, so it's safe to say the world's pretty smitten with what permaculture can do. Diving straight into the nitty-gritty, there's heaps of chatter about just how good permaculture really is. This isn't some magic beans business, but people reckon it's pretty close. Planting food forests in your backyard? You bet! Nature-inspired design and farming? Absolutely! Circular recycling ecosystem? Sounds like a dream, right? All right, I hear ya. Proponents absolutely swear by it, saying it's just about the best thing since sliced bread. But just like everything else under the sun, it's got its fair share of naysayers too. Some folks grumble that it's just too idealistic, in the sky. The hard science folks want a bit more evidence and are skeptical about how transferable and scalable these principles are. And here's the crux of it. The big stumbling block. Trying to elbow our way into the mainstream with permaculture? That's tough. Geez, it's hard enough getting people to recycle, let alone start up a veggie garden or a chicken coop. And then there's the land issue. Owning enough space to do permaculture? Yeah, right. That ain't happening for city slickers in their shoebox apartments. Let's not dodge the cricket bat here. There are plenty of criticisms and controversies. Economic viability? Check. Reliability and consistency of yield? Plus, let's not forget the whole cult. Like, vibe that sometimes gives people the itch to run for the hills. But then again, folks are always wary of new things. Maybe it's just about getting comfortable with added chicken chatter in urban backyards. The truth is, there's a lot to consider with permaculture. It's not a silver bullet, but it does have potential It's about harmonizing with Mother Nature rather than taming her, right? And there's something to be said for that. Whether it sticks around or is just a flash in the pan, only time will tell. For now, though, it's one epic conversation. You've definitely heard about permaculture, haven't you? It's like the latest fashion in the world of agriculture. And boy, oh boy, is it exciting! Modern usage of permaculture isn't just about planting tomatoes and cucumbers in your backyard. It's become a whole lifestyle, a sustainable, eco-friendly blueprint for living in harmony with nature. And what we all want? We're talking about creating gardens that mimic natural ecosystems. By wisely combining different plants and animals, permaculture creates a well-rounded, sustainable piece of land that provides all that is needed for the people and animals living there. Communities around the globe embrace this model for self-sufficient living using ingenious methods like vertical gardening and aquaponics. Revolutionary, right? Now you might be thinking, but what does this mean for our future? Well, it means we could be less reliant on the mass-produced, often harmful agricultural practices we've been using. Picture this: each home producing their own fresh and organic food. Schools teaching kids how to grow vegetables alongside their absees. Neighborhoods coming together to create shared community gardens. Real life stuff that's happening right now thanks to permaculture and the prospects of permaculture. They look pretty green to me. As more and more folks get their green thumbs on, we'll not only produce our own food, but we'll reduce waste, cut down on transport costs, and create habitat for local wildlife. And who knows? Maybe in a couple of years, we'll be waving goodbye to those big supermarket chains and saying hello to a world of sustainable, self-sufficient, locally grown produce. So what do you think? Are you ready to dive into permaculture and explore this world of wonder? Let's do it together! Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give a thumbs up to this video if you found it interesting and want to discover more about the awesome world of permaculture.